cheer down there for the Bombshells. All set. Playoff seeding. Here we go. All right. Everybody's checking in. Our head ref checking in with the 2 jam refs. GoPro for bout review on the head of Lucifer, it appears. Yep, looking over her shoulder at me. So that footage will be reviewed by the teams at times later, whatnot. You know, when Derby first started, I thought they used that for video review. I thought they took the GoPro and, like, used that for challenges. They were like, no. I was like, oh, well, that'd be cool. They were like, don't give the team suggestions. All right, we are up to it. The first Bombshells jammer is Skid Vicious.
And it looks like we've got Princess Leia for the Beauties.
All right, jam 1. Here's what we've got. Those 2 skaters that we just named as jammers at the back of the pack have stars on their heads. They are called the jammers. What you want is you want to get your jammer out of the pack and keep the other jammer in, because once your jammer has gotten through the pack, now every skater they pass is a point. Skid Vicious is now actively scoring points, getting past Beauty skaters in the pack. That is how roller derby works. Flat track, bank track. You want to get your jammer out and keep their jammer in. What you saw there was that the Bombshells were able to get Skid Vicious out while delaying Princess Leia for the Brutal Beauties. The jammer who gets out first is called the lead jammer. They have the ability to stop the clock when they've scored their points and not let the other team score anything, which is what Skid did. Skid got 1 point. It's 1-0 Bombshells. Ordinarily, you will see scores of 4 to 5 on most jams because of that reason. Your jammers this time are Tornado Alley for the Bombshells, and that is Evil Twin for the Brutal Beauties.
Yes, and it's important to note that a jam is a maximum of 60 seconds.
Correct.
And only the lead jammer can call that off before then.
So now Tornado Alley has finished a scoring pass, and while announcers are not technically allowed to call points, we will say that is a 5-point pass. Alley got past all 4 of the blockers for the Brutal Beauties and Evil Twin in the pack, who also is a valid point in bank track roller derby. So now Alley up on the track. Evil Twin has gotten out for the Brutal Beauties and will force this call off right here from Tornado Alley. That chopping signal that you see is supposed to be all the way to the helmet and all the way to the hips, but is more frequently just a frantic chopping of the hips motion. That's called calling it off, and that stops the clock.
And you'll see every lead jammer has their own style of doing
Also
that
correct.
too. Because I do see some that really bring their hands up and down, and some will just do that fast motion right at the hips.
Yes, so that was 7 points for Tornado Alley. The 5 points on the first pass plus 2 more before she got bumped off the track. This is Skid Vicious once again, and that is going to be for the Brutal Beauties behind the rail. That's Gypsy Danger for the Brutal Beauties. So penalties. You heard penalties being called. I heard an arms penalty in the first couple of jams. You saw a skater after the first jam sitting in the penalty box. There's one in there now, in fact. That's Hannibal Lecter sitting in the penalty box for the Bombshells. Lots of penalties that can be assessed. Lots of arms penalties, illegal blocks. You have to, if you get blocked off the track, you have to get back on behind the skater who blocked you off. Penalties are served in the following jam. Now you have what is called a jammer race here. Gypsy Danger got out first with Skid Vicious in hot pursuit. Gypsy Danger called it off because she was not going to be able to get any points without surrendering any to Skid Vicious.
That was a very strategic move on Gypsy Danger's part because Skid Vicious was just coming up way too fast.
Right, so no points for either side there. Still 8-0 Bombshells after 3 jams. Now, what if your jammer gets a penalty? If your jammer gets a penalty, we'll cover that when it happens, by golly. But bookmark that for later because it will happen sooner or later. This is Mad as Sin along the inside and out for the Bombshells quickly. And Skeletori for the Brutal Beauties is mid-pack. Skeletori has taken that star off. Important to note that the jammer is allowed to pass that star to the skater wearing the stripe on their helmet, as has just happened. That can get your jammer out of the pack in that fashion. Evil Twin is trying to put that star cover on now and block Mad as Sin at the same time, and is going to do it, and Mads goes down. So Twin getting back to the pack, Mads has to call it off. Evil Twin successfully keeping herself from becoming a point there. That skater wearing the stripe is called the pivot. They start at the front of the pack at the beginning of the jam, as you'll see here. They can take over as jammer and take off. That kind of is your whirlwind cover of roller derby. We'll cover other stuff as it comes up. But if this is your first time, either in the Twitch chat, I'll put my phone on so I'm watching the Twitch chat during quarter break, or here in the arena, if you have any questions about anything you have seen, come ask me or Suki or anybody in skate gear. We will clue you in. We want you to appreciate the sporting side of this sport.
Absolutely. And you may be asking yourself, can the jammer, the lead jammer, call it off if they are laying down on the track? You saw Madison go down, but was still able to call off the jam. That is allowed. What is not allowed is if that lead jammer is on the infield.
Yeah, if any part of her was touching the infield, no, but was laying right along the inside of the track and was successful in calling it off. Princess Leia got out for the Brutal Beauties there quickly, raced back to the pack, and that was a great example of getting there, getting your points and calling it off before the other team got any. Well timed by Princess Leia, team captain, longtime jammer in this league. So the Brutal Beauties on the board after 5 jams. It is now 12-4 Bombshells.
And we've got on the line for the Bombshells, Sandra Leia O'Connor.
And that's Evil Twin for the Brutal Beauties. Full pack. Not a lot of penalties so far. Fairly penalty light so far in this bout.
And you can see the jammers are trying to reposition themselves to find the best way out. Evil Twin got pushed off onto the infield, but is now back out and is lead jammer as Sandra Leia O'Connor is at the back of the pack trying to make their way through.
Along the inside, Evil Twin gets blocked down to the inside and knocked off the track. That was Hannibal Lecture along the inside with a good block.
Really nice bombshell wall there at the front there. It looks like Skid Vicious possibly, if I'm not mistaken, and Madison.
I heard that's your jammer from the track, so we might get to talk about a power jam in about 30 seconds or so.
Ooh.
I don't know what side, but I heard a jammer penalty. We'll see if that sticks. I can only say what I've heard. I'm not saying I didn't hear it on anybody.
We're not predicting anything.
All I heard was that's your jammer.
Not predicting. We just heard something.
So we will check and see if either side, in fact, loses their jammer.
And Gypsy Danger, I'm just going to have to ask you to pull that helmet cover down. It's making me nervous. We've seen those things spring off at any given moment.
Yeah, no kidding. Apparently not. Yeah, apparently that was not a penalty that stuck. So we have full strength for both sides. That's why we don't call penalties in advance, right?
There you go.
That is getting out quickly for the Bombshells. Skid Vicious, that was a 3-point jam for the
jammer
Beauties.
Race, though. Gypsy Danger and Skid Vicious.
Skid Vicious racing to get back to the pack, is going to try to get this point at the back, runs up to the pack and calls it off before Gypsy Danger can get there.
Skid Vicious making a very nice call there, trying to get those points. Kind of knowing exactly where Gypsy Danger was in the rear view is super smart.
Yep. Another full strength pack out there. Wait. Oh, spoke a little too soon. 1 penalty. Gnarly Quinn heading to the penalty box for the Brutal Beauties. This is going to be Tornado Alley back here a little ways back from the jammer line. And on the jammer line is Skeletori for the Brutal Beauties.
Now, Skeletori has now really confused me because normally they have the white bow.
Yes.
No white bow today.
No, no white bow, and also wearing one of 3 different numbers she might wear depending on where she's skating.
Right.
11, 011, or 19.
Yeah.
But you know what? We hang in there. We do what we can. Skeletori is out for the Brutal Beauties.
Tornado Alley is still fighting with those Brutal Beauty blockers. Ooh, say that 3 times fast.
So now Skeletori is mid-pack. Alley is still not out for the Bombshells, and Tori has finished a scoring pass. He'll be coming around for some more for the Brutal Beauties.
I think that was that Maximum Overdrive that gave a nice little bump to Alley?
I would
Looks
say.
like it, yeah.
Yeah. So now Alley is going to try to play some jammer defense at the back of the pack. It's not confusing at all that the 2 teams' helmet stars look exactly the same, is it? Alley gets out, and Skeletori is going to call it off, I believe, or the clock may have expired. You're right about those helmet covers for the
I know, I'm a little scared. I saw one spring off of someone on the infield, too, so it's like, please, everybody, check your helmet covers.
And that was a productive jam for the Beauties. That's 9 points for the Brutal Beauties, and they take the lead, 16-15. The Brutal Beauties jump in front. We're going to have a timeout. It's an official timeout, so with 6:28 to go in the first quarter, 16-15. Brutal Beauties in front.
When you came in tonight, you may have noticed that we have some vendors in the front there. We have got Raven Sweet Haven, and they specialize in tasty vegan options as well as some of their sweets. I know that Clifton here can go ahead and attest that these savory options are absolutely fantastic. I will say that the pies, cupcakes, and the cakes are absolutely delicious as well, so try them out. Irish Moon is there as well. Deck your skates out. They've got skate accessories, laces, etc. And if you noticed out to my right, outside, Dead Star Press is here with their bookmobile. So if you're looking for something to read, maybe during these intermissions or for later on, go check them out. They are a small indie press, and they're going to be outside by our food truck, which should be arriving here shortly. So give our vendors a glance, participate with them.
All right, we are back to the action. Smaller pack this time. Those penalties have now caught up with us. A lot of skaters in the penalty box here. This is Skid Vicious for the Bombshells and Princess Leia for the Brutal Beauties.
Both jammers out to a flying start there. Skid Vicious looking to make it out as lead jammer, but no.
We got ourselves an actual classic
wait.
jam race. Skid gets through to take lead and calls it off after getting lead.
Totally got lost on who was who there for a second.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, we're going to just switch off.
Two very fast skaters getting out at the same time. The minimum as far as a pack goes there, you saw there was only 2 blockers for each side. So after that very fast jam, now a full pack out there. That's going to be Skeletori and Hannibal Lecter.
Both Skeletori and Lecture. Ooh, there we go. We've got a lead jammer. Skeletori's coming out as well. It looks like we've got another jammer race. We're having quite a few of those already.
Yeah, both teams have been very successful in getting both of their jammers out. A lot of 1- and 2-point jams in races like this. Hannibal Lecter up to the pack, calls it off. Had a collision there at the end. Everybody's making sure they're okay. I hear power. Oh, this time I'm sure of it. It is a penalty on Hannibal Lecter. It's our first power jam of the bout, and it's a power jam for the Brutal Beauties when we're all tied up at the moment, 16-16. That's right. If you get a penalty on your jammer, you skate without a jammer in the next jam. So now the Brutal Beauties can focus on offense only. They don't have to defend against the Bombshells jammer. Power jams can be a huge advantage for the offensive team, but if that defensive team can hold them down for 60 seconds, that's a defensive stand. Let's see if we are going to start this jam. It looks like we are. Princess Leia is on the jammer line. We had the medics over talking with Evil Twin, it looked like, and it looks like they're satisfied. And the jam starts.
Princess Leia having a little bit of a slow start there coming out. Got bumped off into the infield, but it looks like Slappy Go Lucky, Impaler Swift, and Madison are doing a good job holding them back. Now Tornado Alley's, no, that's not Tornado Alley. I think that was Slappy that was actually working in defense as well for the Bombshells. But now Sleia is out and coming around to see if they can collect some points.
Yeah, Sleia's out. Good defensive effort by the Bombshells, though, in order to eat a lot of time off the clock, which is really the name of the game in power jams a lot of the time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Princess Leia gets through on that scoring pass. There's 20 seconds left in the power jam right now. Bombshells lining up for defense. And Sleia's going to find a path along the inside. Good block, team block there by Madison and Dirty Carry.
Really nice job by the Bombshells on defense here. Just not allowing Sleia to get through. It's not uncommon to see a power jam yield 15 upwards, 20 points sometimes if the jammer just kind of circles around.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll check on the score there. Looked like a partial scoring pass that second time for Princess Leia. And it was. It was an 8-point power jam for Princess Leia and the Brutal Beauties. 24-16, the Beauties have sprung in front.
And that is Tornado Alley for the Bombshells. And is that Skeletori?
No, that's Critter, number 304.
With a bow.
With a bow.
They are trying to confuse
right?
me.
That's Critter, number 304 for the Brutal Beauties. Critter blocked off to the inside, trying to get past Juicy Kiltour at the front of the pack. Looking back in the pack, and you got your jammer Tornado Alley for the Bombshells is still fighting up and down that wall at the back of the pack.
Both jammers are having a difficult time defensively. Both teams are doing really, really well here.
Jam continuing, 13 seconds left on the jam clock. Still both jammers fighting to get out, but we're approaching that point where if one of them were to get out, it probably wouldn't matter from a time standpoint, and we're definitely at that point now. So this jam's going to expire with no score. Neither jammer got out, no lead jammer at all. So full-length jam, no points for either side. We have Skid Vicious once again for the Bombshells.
And Gypsy Danger for the Beauties.
That's right. It'll be about 2 minutes to go in the first quarter when this jam starts.
This has been a really nice, fast-moving bout
Yep,
so
we
far.
We have zipped right through this quarter, haven't we? Skid is going to, wow, Skid Vicious held up, gave the okey doke to Gnarly Quinn along the inside with a head fake. Gnarly Quinn went by, and Skid was like Steph Curry taking a three-pointer. Beautiful. Skid back to the pack now, half a track advantage over Gypsy Danger, and Skid got blocked to the inside, has to scramble to get back up to the track and call it off, with Gypsy Danger coming in with a full head of steam. No points for either side. Excellent blocking at the back of the pack by the Brutal Beauties.
And we've got Evil Twin on the line for the Beauties now, and Sandra Slay O'Connor for the Bombshells.
I have a challenge, Duck.
I wonder if that's going to be a point.
Chicken.
Chicken.
I can't read the whiteboard from here, boss. All right? You think I can tell the difference between an inflated, stuffed fake fowl from here? That still looks like a duck, but apparently Sandra Slay O'Connor has indignantly told me that's a chicken. So the challenge chicken has been thrown by the Bombshells.
Speaking of chicken, is the food truck here?
Yeah, we will check on that momentarily. Looks like that's going to be a points challenge as I see the eyes in the sky heading down. So apparently Infidel Castro is challenging the fact that the Bombshells did not get any points. I was just complimenting the blocking by the Brutal Beauties, and Infidel Castro is specifically challenging that. So we'll step aside for the challenge process. See the regulators gathering in the back straightaway. Here, the camera will show that momentarily. It will. And we will get to that process. So 1:05 to go in the first quarter. We're checking on the provenance of chicken and waffles right now. We'll bring you that in a moment. 24-16, the Brutal Beauties in front.
But also, do not be afraid to get some raffle tickets. We've got some raffle prizes. We've got a silent auction happening. The prizes for the raffle is a hummingbird head shaver, Siphon Draw skincare box, a Green Yeti tumbler, an HODS podcast trucker hat. Raven is giving away a pie of choice. Switchblade salon haircut. Dead Press Bookmobile is doing a tote bag and a book, your choice of book. And then Tucci's Touch Massage is also doing a gift certificate. So go up to the front there. There's a bunch of gold bags. Buy your raffle tickets, drop them in there, and good luck.
Yeah, Tucci is here, which means, yes, Tucci is here, which is fantastic. So you can actually go down there and sign up for a chair massage, sample that, and then win that raffle prize. Raffle prizes, raffle tickets are $1 each or 6 for $5. So if you got a $20 ticket, you got a $20 bill, that's 24 tickets, for example. You go down and put your tickets in the bag of the prize that you'd like to win. So if you want to really ensure that you win that Ravens pie, and why wouldn't you, you can go put a lot of tickets in that bag, for example. That's the raffle. Challenge continuing, animated discussion in the back straightaway. No sign of breaking up yet. We will let you know about our upcoming... Get you the results of that challenge momentarily. We'll let you know if the Bombshells are going to get any points added. All right, we can bring you the results of that momentarily. As soon as the benches find out, then we can officially tell you what is going on. And the benches have heard. Challenge unsuccessful. The points stand as called. No points for the Bombshells on that jam. Bombshells have used their first half challenge, so Bombshells will get a challenge back that they can use in the second half. You also, if you win a challenge, get to keep that challenge, so the Bombshells have a maximum of 2 challenges remaining. Now back to it, same jammers that we had before that challenge, Sandra, Slay O'Connor, and Evil Twin.
And away they go. Both jammers going towards the high there, trying to weasel their way through some blockers. Looks like Evil Twin has a slight advantage over Sandra Slayer O'Connor as they're making their way towards the front of the pack. Although Sandra Slayer O'Connor looks like there might be getting out here. Maybe, maybe not. Some beauties there trying to make that impossible.
Yeah, a bunch of big collisions in the pack. A bunch of skaters down hard in the back straightaway, but everybody's back up. Taking off now, taking over as jammer for the Bombshells is Juicy Kill Tour after a star pass.
Very successful star pass. That's what that looks like.
Yeah, excellently executed. I am trying to track the star for the Brutal Beauties, and I don't see it at the moment. It might be in the hand of the pivot. Racing around the outside. Juicy Kill Tour. It is in the hand of the pivot, in fact. Getting out of the pack was Skeletori with it still in her hand, in fact. We've got time for one more jam. If the clock expires during downtime between jams, we do still proceed with the jam. 5 points for the Bombshells to hack into that lead. 24-21, Beauties. Last jam of the first quarter. Princess Leia for the Brutal Beauties. Tornado Alley for the Bombshells. Once again, these two teams are playing for the 4 seed in the playoffs. This is for playoff seeding. Winner of this bout is the 4 seed. Loser is the 5 seed. Tornado Alley was nearly clear along the inside, spun down to the ground and had to get back up all the way behind the pack. Look at that. And out the front goes the Beauties jammer. So the Beauties are now going to control the pace of play on this jam. That's Princess Leia.
Alley still looking to find a way out of the pack there. Star in hand, but does make it out as Princess Leia does a nice little dance across the coping there, but does end up falling. Princess Leia back up, looking to maybe get some points, but calls it off as Alley comes up in a hurry.
Alley blasting into the pack, stopped herself up against the rail. We had 4 points for the Brutal Beauties, as would be expected there. So our first quarter break, wow. It's not just to say they have chicken and waffles. They've got chicken and waffles. They've got tenders and fries. Now they've got also a full fleet of dessert waffles and other dessert options like cheesecakes and things like that. So they've got fried chicken and fried chicken tenders, fries. They have a dirty fries that looks really interesting with like grilled onions and chopped chicken meat and stuff. And then a bunch of different sweet waffles, other varieties of things. That's Mr. Wonderful's outside. We've got our first prize to give away for the Hummingbird Head Shaver. We're going to draw out one of these tickets and take a look at it. Get those raffle tickets ready for the Hummingbird Head Shaver. 103-981. 103-981. You're the lucky winner of the Hummingbird Head Shaver. If that is you, kind of like give us a wave or a hoot or a holler. Let us know. You don't need to come up here. You don't want to come to the sound of my voice, but let us know so I don't sit up here and keep reading your number over and over again. You want to head down to the raffle table. They will have your Hummingbird Head Shaver. But if that's you, the lucky winner, 103-981, give us a wave and let us know if that's you. Anyone? I don't know. We'll check on that again later. All right, we'll keep track of that. Back to the action, 28-21, Brutal Beauties in front. This is going to be Skid Vicious on the jammer line for the Beauties, and that is, I believe, Evil Twin. It is Evil Twin. Skid quickly out of the pack. big cheer from the Bombshells contingent out in the crowd.
Evil
as
Twins
Skid
still
gets
looking to
out.
find their way out as Skid Vicious is coming up for some points here. Ooh, very smooth move around the coping there, around that inside.
Evil Twins getting fought down to the inside is trying to play some jammer defense, but that wall at the back of the pack is very effective. Skid's going to get out now. Black Mamba trying to blast through the pack. Evil Twins still fighting to get out. The Bombshells are really putting the points on the board here at the beginning of the second quarter. An emphatic statement to begin the second quarter of action. 13 seconds left on the jam clock. Skid Vicious is still mid-pack, still trying to get more points, and eventually calls it off. That was a big 13-point jam for the Bombshells. The Bombshells go from 7 down to 6 up. The Bombshells are in front, 34-28. Another lead change. I think we're going to have some more of those.
I think so. It looks like it's going to be back and forth, back and forth.
This
If I
is
was to predict
Gypsy
anything.
Danger here for the Brutal Beauties, and that is Tornado Alley for the Bombshells.
One jammer high, one jammer low. Tornado Alley kind of stuck behind Princess Leia there. And Fitzwilliam Darcy, I believe that is.
Alley routed down to the inside and is fighting to get around. Still at the back of the pack, and now this time, the Brutal Beauties are going to get their jammer out the front while holding the other team's jammer in. There goes Gypsy Danger. Taking over his jammer for the Bombshells is Mad as Sin. So here comes Mads
Another
for the
successful
Bombshells.
star pass that we're witnessing. Gypsy Danger taking a fall. Madison makes it around.
We've got a
takes
lead
fall,
change.
but
Madison
yes.
has blasted through the pack. Gypsy Danger got knocked into the rail, doesn't know that she's no longer lead jammer, not even aware that Madison had come by. So now Gypsy is going to get on there. Big huge collision at the back of the pack. Madison right into Princess Leia. Sleia's going to get off the track barely under her own power and is going to get back to the bench. Medics are going to spring right into action. My goodness, what a hit. And it really was just, Sleia just happened to get in the way at the wrong moment. It wasn't malicious.
No, not at
What
all.
a hit.
Madison is just a freight train
Coming
through.
in
Yeah,
quickly, too,
absolutely.
to get through the pack. Team
One-
timeout Bombshells.
Yeah, one thing we need to mention is that we do have volunteer medics that are here at every single bout, and we are extremely grateful. We hope that they get to just hang out and watch the games, but every once in a while we need them here to kind of check out the players, make sure everybody's safe and healthy.
Much discussion about the score, so points for both sides. Bombshells put 7 on the board. The Brutal Beauties put 4 on the board, 41-32. The officials now are going to talk over some of that going on there in the previous jam. I have to keep watching the music because for some reason the music keeps pausing, but sometimes it's just, like the beginning of Believe by Cher, and it's just very quiet. The beginning of Believe by Cher is just freaking 20 seconds of so yeah, that took me a second to figure out what we were listening to. I was looked out, oh, never mind, it's Cher. What am I supposed to do? Yeah, it's also true.
Very, very nice impression there.
Thank
very,
you.
very,
Appreciate
very nice.
it. When this song came out, this was my dad's favorite song. My father, 6'3", would have been a lifelong football player if he hadn't quit to go into the family business. And this song came out, and he's like, oh my God, I never knew I loved Cher. And just driving around in his pickup truck, bumping this song, a 55-year-old man. And
Cher
I'm like,
is
what
universal.
Are we even?
Universal.
He
And now we got a
loved
challenge.
this song, man.
Something's
now
going
we
on
do
here.
have a
Yes.
challenge. All right, so after some of that discussion, let's see if it's points. It doesn't look like it's points because yep, there they go. It's going to be points. Eyes in the sky are heading down, so it is going to be a points challenge. Penalties have been assessed. I see 2 Brutal Beauties in the penalty box, but neither of them are a jammer. And I see 1 Bombshell, I think, and I don't think that is a jammer either. So, no, that may just be somebody sitting in their penalty box during the timeout. We'll check on that, though. Again, points challenge, our second points challenge of the first half. Challenged by the Brutal Beauties. We will get you the results momentarily. 12:20 to go until halftime.
One quick announcement about the silent auction. We do have 2 different prizes that you can actually bid on down at the table there. One of them is a $300 tattoo gift certificate from Rhea Riot. The other is a $400 tattoo gift certificate for Lost Dutchman. So if you were thinking about getting some new ink, now is the time. Get those raffle tickets for the auction.
Yeah, get down there and check out the silent auction. See what those starting bids are. See if you want to make a bid as well. And check that out. Don't forget, once again, Tucci's Touch is here. Tucci's Touch Massage is providing free 10-minute massages in the vendor area. They specialize in trigger point therapy, targeting muscle knots and tension to relieve pain and improve mobility. Their injury rehab approach combines therapeutic techniques to accelerate recovery and restore functional movement. As we said, free 10-minute massages from Tucci's Touch down there in the vendor village this evening.
All right, we're going to go ahead and read this number off for the Hummingbird Head Shaver, the raffle ticket prize. So get out your raffle tickets. 103981 is the winning number for that. If that is you, give us a wave, give us a shout, but don't come up here. Go down to the table where you put the raffle ticket in. That was 103981.
Yeah, we will let you know. We do sometimes have gift cards and whatnot. Food truck has no chicken tenders tonight. I was just reading off their menu, so I didn't, I guess I should have stuck my head in there and said, do you all have everything on the menu? What's been 86th? Anyway, wings. Yeah, so wings and then their waffles and desserts is what they have this evening, and cheesecake. Wings, waffles, and cheesecakes is your options at the food truck.
But don't forget, if you're looking for a more savory option that is vegan, vegetarian friendly, check out Raven Sweet Haven. Down at the front there, they do have a lot of savory options that you can enjoy if you are not a meat eater.
Challenge continuing in the back straightaway. So we will let you know about the Arizona Derby Dames Drink Bar. Be sure to visit the Derby Dames Drink Bar. Tonight, the drink bar is at its old location between the bleachers. Make sure to pick yourself up a drink for the drink bar. That is down, as we said, it's in the old spot down here between the bleachers. You see that little open door, basically, has been used as the snack place. It's right here next to the Lost Dutchman tattoo sign. So that is tonight's drink bar down there inside for the Derby Dames.
And speaking of Lost Dutchman Tattoo, they're one of the Derby Dames' longtime sponsors and have been donating since 2011. They're dedicated to providing a safe and inclusive environment for all. As an ally to the LGBTQIA+ community, they are committed to fostering a welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Their talented their talented artists specialize in a variety of tattoo styles, including traditional, fine line, black and gray, new traditional, and Japanese. They invite both appointments and walk-ins to experience their artistry. They're open Tuesday to Saturday from 12 to 8.
And we are back to it. That challenge was unsuccessful. That's the second time somebody has challenged the Bombshells point totals in the first half. The Brutal Beauties thought the Bombshells got too many, and that challenge was unsuccessful. So both teams do not have a challenge remaining in the first half. Both teams get one back for the second half. Skatey Gaga for the Bombshells, and Skatey is out.
And that is Skeletori for the Beauties, who is looking to find their place. Helmet cover coming off, so let's see what happens there. But Skatey Gaga's coming around for some points.
Skatey Gaga's one of our league rookies this year, and I've seen her skate now with 3 different teams, and it's interesting when a sub-skater gets used as a jammer. You know they trust you to a certain extent. Obviously, they trust you to go out there and get those points. So it's always good to see when a league rookie gets into bouts like this and already is getting trusted to do a full workload. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of confidence in them.
Yeah, absolutely. So Skatey blocked down to the inside. Jammer for the Brutal Beauties is still not out, so Skatey Gaga is on that first scoring pass. That is Skeletori who gets out for the Beauties, and Skatey Gaga is going to call it off.
And one important note for those of you who are new to Derby, you may have noticed that Skeletori did not put their helmet cover back on. The helmet cover must go back on the helmet before any points can be scored.
Correct. Yes, you only get a point if you pass somebody with the helmet cover on. That's the risk of taking it off, is you have to try to put it back on while skating on an incline, and it can be really hard to get that elastic thing to stay on a slick helmet.
I have seen them
We've seen
spring
it pop off before, yeah.
I've seen them being dropped midway through the track, and you can't backtrack. You can't go back and get it. So if you don't have the helmet cover, you are not going to be scoring any points.
So that was 9 big points for the Bombshells. It is the Bombshells' biggest lead here, 50-32. Sandra Slay O'Connor on the jammer line for the Bombshells, and that is going to be Critter for the Brutal Beauties. Critter gets blocked off down to the inside. Sandy is trying to work along the coping and just runs out of real estate. So now Critter is going to try to get past the high side. Spins around. Nice move by Critter. Another one of our league rookies this year. Another skater I've seen skate with a couple of different teams. Excellent move to get along free along the inside for the Brutal Beauties. Sandra Slay O'Connor blocked off to the inside, is now going to try to line up to play jammer defense. Great work by the back wall of the Brutal Beauties to not let Sandy get free to block the jammer, but also not let Sandy out. Excellent work by those 3 blockers there. Sandy's still at the back of the pack. 5 seconds left, so Critter's not going to have enough time to get around for a second scoring pass. But that should be a productive jam for the Brutal Beauties.
Yeah, good job by the Beauties defense, too, on that one.
Yep. 5 points for the Beauties, 50-37. Bombshells in front as we're under 10 minutes to go until halftime. Been keeping an eye on penalties. You get 7 penalties before you foul out in bank track roller derby in a full-length bout. Seems like we've been skating pretty penalty light so far. Only 1 power jam here halfway through the second quarter.
Knockwood. And we got Skid Vicious for the Bombshells jamming and Evil Twin for the Beauties. Skid Vicious making a big play there towards the high. Comes out as lead jammer while Evil Twin is left at the back of the pack looking to make their way through, just not finding that spot yet. But they do now.
So here comes Skid, is going to go high and then weave past some skaters to get through the pack, and we'll call it off. Should be a nice, tidy 4 points for the Bombshells there. We'll check from the infield. I saw Tornado Alley heading to the jammer line, then stopped and said, Power D, we've got a penalty on the jammer for the Bombshells. A very well-timed power jam for the Brutal Beauties. They would love a big jam right here. We're about halfway through the second quarter, so power jam for the Brutal Beauties. Gypsy Danger at the jammer line.
Gypsy Danger takes off, but is met with a little wall of Bombshells there, but manages to squeak through.
Very quick. Excellent work by the Brutal Beauties, and the Beauties have the pack held up at a snail's pace, which is just what they want on a power jam. Good defense there by Slappy Go Lucky, but Gypsy Danger with the momentum able to win that collision there at the back of the pack and get clear. 30 seconds to go in the jam.
Pack's moving a little bit faster now, which is what the Bombshells want because they want to put as much space between the pack and Gypsy Danger as possible.
19 seconds to go in the power jam. Great block by Madison. Completely sapped all of Gypsy Danger's momentum and let the pack reform in front of her. That really could have been the difference in Gypsy having time to get around for another scoring pass or not. Gypsy may still get all the points on this pass, but excellent blocking by Madison at the front of the pack for the Bombshells. And Gypsy's going to call it off with 1 second left on the clock, so a 59-second jam for academic purposes. Let's check on that score from the infield. Ding, 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 ding. 9 points for the Brutal Beauties. So the lead is back to single digits for the Bombshells, 54-46. Seven minutes to go until halftime. Skeletori on the jammer line for the Brutal Beauties. Skid Vicious for the Bombshells.
Skid gets out in no time at all for the Bombshells and is coming around. Skeletori having a little more difficulty sneaking up around the high there. Has their helmet cover in hand, though, so let's see what happens with that.
Bombshells try to clear a path for Skid Vicious. She finds an opening there between skaters somehow and finds a path to the rail to get through. Easy scoring pass for Skid Vicious, coming around for more. We have a stoppage in play and a return to your benches. So we will check. Okay, we're going to take a stoppage in play. Win back to the bench and getting treated by the medic crew. We have points in. The Bombshells get all 10 of those points, all 5 of the points on that second scoring pass. So 10 points for the Bombshells to push that lead back up towards 20. It's a 64-46. Maybe we got a palindrome score. Johnny Pepper. Love you, Johnny Pepper. Palindrome score. Hey, that's a palindrome, 64-46. I'm Johnny Pepper. I love numbers. That's my dime store Johnny Pepper impersonation, said with all the love obviously all the love in the world. He may be out here for Chingadera, so I'll probably have to face the music for that.
Johnny's laid back. He's not going to mind that at all.
Yeah, right. It's not like I'm up here wearing a disco jacket and trying to steal his thunder.
Exactly. If you showed up in a red sequin jacket, then we'd probably have to have a conversation.
And a long blonde wig. Yep, I've got chin hair. I don't have head hair. I don't have that long, luscious coif like Johnny Pepper does. He is something, man. It is so much fun having Johnny Pepper around for stuff. He is, and he's a great announcer too, but really just brings just such a zest. It's a lot of fun. We are ready to get back to the action. Gnarly Quinn still getting talked to by the coaches on the bench, was able to get back to the bench under her own power though, so everything is good. Was a stoppage in play due to the injured skater. However, penalty was assessed to Skid Vicious. We've got ourselves another Brutal Beauties Power Jam. That's going to be Skeletori on the jammer line for the Brutal Beauties. So, excellent time for another Power Jam for the Beauties. After that big jam by Skid Vicious, so we'll see if they can have the kind of success here they had last time.
Yeah, we've got Impaler Swift out there for the Bombshells in defense. We've got Madison. We've got Juicy Kiltor. We've also got Dirty Carry. Longtime Bombshells team members there, so
yeah, excellent
they know what's
defense.
at stake. Excellent
defense so far here. Great block along the inside by Swifty. Bombshells are really playing game defense here. Fantastic to watch. No action at all as far as getting the Beauties jammer out. Another great block at the front of the pack. The Bombshells came out of that timeout ready to play. They're now going to get some agitation, and they're trying to spring Tori if they can with 17 seconds left in the Power Jam. And Tori's going to sneak by along the inside. Does Tori have time to get around and get points, though? They've got one Bombshells blocker pinned in the back. Mads is going to try to get out, so they may be able to pick off Mads and get that ghost point. Will they get more? Tori to the front of the pack, and I don't know if they did. It might just be 2 points on the Power Jam, and if they did, even at that, what a defensive stand by the Bombshells. We got to cheer for the Bombshells fans out in the audience. Excellent stand. 3 points. Skid did get one of those last skaters at the end, kind of got that wall to flex just a little bit. But, yeah, excellent stand by the Bombshells defense. Timely defense on the Power Jam.
And that is Tornado Alley for the Bombshells on the line.
We've got Gypsy Danger for the Brutal Beauties once again.
No, that's Critter.
Nope, that's Critter. Thank you. Jammers are shifting around, trying to play a little bit of games personship. So now we've got to the front of the pack. Critter's trying to get clear. Spins around, manages to, wow, a little
Nice
pivot.
job by Critter.
Yeah, excellent job by Critter getting around the pivot. Hannibal Lecture. Now
But here comes Allie.
Yeah, here comes Tornado Alley with a full head of steam. Tornado Alley, much like a tornado, is going to come blasting down the back straightaway. Critter now up to the pack. Is going to try to get up here and get what points she can, get in front of a couple of these skaters, and is going to finish that scoring pass. Now, frantically, the crowd is urging her to call it off. Tornado Alley mid-pack, and Critter does so. Most everybody in the building that was here for the Brutal Beauties was yelling, call it, right
Call
then.
it off, call it off. We'll see if Tornado Alley actually got any points
Yeah,
out of
Tornado
that.
Alley on the pursuit.
Oh,
Tornado
got a
Alley
couple.
does get 2 points at the back of the pack. 4 points for Critter, as one would expect. So a net gain of 2 for the Brutal Beauties, 66-53. It's going to be about 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go until halftime. This is Evil Twin for the Beauties.
Skid Vicious for the Bombshells.
Yeah, we've got skaters coming down, small pack now, so this might be an opportunity for a jammer to get out quickly. Skid Vicious to the front of the pack is able to fight past that pivot and get out, much as we figured might happen with a small pack like that. Now Evil Twin is going to get by around the outside as well to try to keep this to one scoring pass for Skid Vicious, who does so along the inside and immediately calls it off.
Skid's like, nope, not going to give you the chance. Because they know what Evil Twin can do.
Gypsy Danger is at the jammer line, and that jammer star is barely hanging on, but that's
I
none
know,
of my
I'm
business.
scared. I mentioned that earlier. I'm like, please pull that thing down.
And then we've got Mad as Sin up there at the top for the Bombshells.
There we go.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, those things we would hate to see an
Just looking out
inadvertence,
for you.
the old sproing off. Mad as Sin is fighting up to the pack. Gypsy Danger. Yeah, I hate to be like trying to be the harbinger, like shadowing, but it's just like I feel like that's eventually going to happen.
I know, I was worried about it.
Mad as Sin is out for the Bombshells. And
Oh,
there goes Gypsy Danger,
There goes
fully
Gypsy Danger.
clothed.
Yes.
Mad as Sin is now going to try to stick her hips around, try to weave her hips around that last blocker, gets back up to reestablish and calls it off.
Twin. She came out.
Heading down towards 2 minutes to go until halftime.
And that is Skeletori, Sans White Bow. And Skid Vicious online again.
4 points for the Bombshells there. So the Bombshells are trying to maintain this 20-point lead as we head into approaching the halftime break, as we mentioned. See Gnarly Quinn ready to suit up for the next jam. Gnarly Quinn's still on the bench. I spoke a little too soon. I'm just keeping an eye on Gnarly and seeing how she's doing on the bench. That is Skid getting out for the Bombshells.
Skeletori making some plays there at the back. As, let's see, it looks like we had a star pass there.
We did. Taking over as jammer is going to be Sour Apple Teeny for the Bombshells, number 187. Struggling to get that star cover on, as we mentioned, and forcing the call off. So 3 more for the Bombshells. Be about a minute to go until halftime when this next jam starts. Sandra Slay O'Connor for the Bombshells. Critter.
Critter, yes.
Yep, for the Brutal
Critter, who
Beauties.
has stolen the bow from Skeletori, I think. I'm not sure. Very focused on wardrobe tonight. I don't know what my problem is.
Heh. And we've got Sandy racing through the pack for the Bombshells. Bombshells are really succeeding in controlling the pace of play here in the second quarter as we get ready to head down towards halftime. Well, remind you, it was 28-21 when this quarter started. So the Bombshells and the Bombshells
put the
were
hammer
down.
down. Yeah.
So the Bombshells have really come out with emphasis here in the second quarter with an urgency to get that 4 seed and head into the playoffs on a winning note.
Sandra Slay
Sandy?
O'Connor decides to call that off
Yep.
as they saw Critter kind of coming up from behind.
Sandy had the head on a swivel, was looking around, knew where everybody was. So we've got time for one more jam in the first half. Evil Twin for the Brutal Beauties. Skid Vicious for the Bombshells.
Once again, aren't you tired, Skid Vicious? I would think so at this point. Of course, Evil Twin's been up there a lot too, so
Yep.
they're both probably a little bit like, okay, let's have a break.
Yeah, we've almost fit 30 jams into this first half. We've been ripping them through, I'll tell you what. A lot of short jams, a lot of quick in and out.
Not a lot of stoppages, which has been really nice.
So, again, quarter clock has reached quadruple zeros. We've got Skid fighting through the pack. And Skid gets through. So, Bombshells are going to be putting some points on the board here as we head into the halftime break. Still got your jammer at the back of the pack for the Brutal Beauties, Evil Twin. Skid Vicious does get blocked down to the inside and is now up, is going to get bumped off again. Evil Twin just short of get shoved into her. And Skid's going to get up and call it off. We'll check on the points for the infield. Let's draw a prize real quick before we get those points in. One raffle prize to give away. This is the organic skincare from Siphon Draw Apothecary. Get So we'll read both of those winning tickets one more time. All right, so please, again, for the Siphon Draw Apothecary bag, Siphon Draw Apothecary Organic Skincare Giveaway Pack, 103946. 103946. If that was you for Siphon Draw, I guess let us know, but also you need to go down to the raffle table and claim your prize because they want us to draw another ticket because nobody came to claim it. So we need to clarify that they want you to come claim your prize. 103946 for Siphon Draw. The Hummingbird Head Shaver, winner for the Hummingbird Head Shaver, same thing, 103981. They want you to go down and claim that at the raffle table, please. We will redraw these prizes if nobody claims those tickets. Thank you. All right, we are back to the action. The Bombshells dominated the second quarter in what had been a low-scoring bout. It was 28-21 Brutal Beauties when the second quarter began, and the Bombshells opened up a humongous lead, 88-53. 30 minutes of derby to go. Tornado Alley for the Bombshells. That's Evil Twin for the Brutal Beauties.
And they are off. Both jammers are looking for their place, hopefully at the front of the pack here to become lead jammer. Allie gets bumped off onto the infield. Evil Twin towards the back there. There is some shifting of stars, perhaps. We've seen that quite a bit, actually, during this bout. Evil Twin still at the back there. Looks like actually no star pass. Allie's going to go ahead and hold on to that and come around for some points as Evil Twin is looking to make their move, finding it a little bit difficult behind those Bombshell blockers.
Evil Twin is going to fight through along the inside and get out of the pack. Was really in danger of Tornado Alley getting through on a full 5-point scoring pass. Alley's going to watch the action and finally call it off with Evil Twin coasting in at the back of the pack. So we will check on the score from the infield. Coming up to the pack from the other way, Skeletori for the Brutal Beauties. I
Skid
just
Vicious for
heard
the Bombshells.
Skid Vicious, I believe, is going to be exiting the track.
Oh.
I don't think she's gotten the word yet.
Do we have a Power Jam in
everybody's
progress
yelling
here?
Power O, Power D. It's going to be a Power Jam for the Brutal Beauties. Brutal Beauties are going to need opportunities like this to cut into this nearly 40-point lead of the Bombshells. So that has been the one thing the Bombshells have done is they've surrendered a handful of Power Jams to the Beauties here tonight. Obviously have been able to withstand the effects of that with the scoreboard that we're looking at. So Skeletori's still at the jammer line for the Brutal Beauties.
This could be a good boost for both confidence and also the score.
Oh, absolutely. This would be humongous for the Beauties right here in the very early parts of the third quarter. Skeletori immediately has that star ripped off.
That seems to be a bit of a theme tonight. I keep seeing the jammers like automatically just kind of reaching up and grabbing for it. So, but Skeletori's going to go ahead and hold on to that star coming around.
Yeah, able to fight through along the inside. Each team is now one blocker, so it's a slightly reduced pack. Big block in front of us. Maximum Overdrive went down with a big bounce. So now here comes Tori. 24 seconds left on the Power Jam. The Brutal Beauties have not been able to separate the pack, however, and so the Bombshells are still managing to stick together. Tori catches up. Skater got rolled up on from behind and went down. Tori finishes the scoring pass. Everybody's back up on their wheels, which is good to see. It's always hard. It's always hard when you see a skater get rolled up from underneath and behind when they fall downwards and backwards. That's scary. Skid Vicious appears to be all right. We also did get a report during halftime. Gnarly Quinn has left for the evening, had a leg up on a splint-looking device, so we can't really speculate on anything, but some sort of a lower body injury for Gnarly Quinn and will not be back to the track this evening. We've got a timeout on the track, official timeout. As we mentioned, both teams do have a challenge again now that we're into the second half. The officials are going to talk this one over. 4 points for the Brutal Beauties, 92-57.
And we talked a little bit about that raffle prize for Siphon Draw Apothecary, and they have been a very long time sponsor of ours as well.
Rhea Riot Tattoo is right there at the Riot Collective Private Studio. Tattoos and laser removal come with zero judgment and all the good vibes. Whether you're adding new art or letting go of the old, you'll find a safe, inclusive, and chill space made just for you. Follow them online at _Riot_Collective, Rhea_Riot, or Boner Riot. That's Rhea Riot Tattoo.
Okay, quick announcement. We have a pair of glasses that are missing. They are prescription and they are blue framed. If anybody happens to see those glasses, if you could just go ahead and bring them up here to us at the announcer table, that would be wonderful. Blue framed prescription glasses.
Somebody
Thank you.
has lost glasses. If you see glasses sitting around that are not on a face and they have blue frames, please let us know. Once again, your wrap.
Don't take any glasses off of somebody's face.
Yes, right. No, don't do that. I think those are the missing glasses. Just snatch them off somebody's face. Give me those, thief. Don't forget, silent auction will be given away at the second halftime of the second bout later this evening. The $300 Rhea Riot Tattoo gift certificate and the $400 Lost Dutchman Tattoo gift certificate. Get down there to the raffle table. Check out the silent auction bids. See what kind of bids are there.
I just actually got a report from the bid station. There aren't that many bids going on, so this could actually be a nice win for someone.
That's right.
Go down there and check that out.
You do have to be present to win, but those will be given away during the second half. You could get yourself a tattoo gift certificate at one of two fine tattoo establishments. We're back to the action.
And we've got Madison for the Bombshells, who's skirting around the coping there, ends up as lead jammer. That is Gypsy Danger for the Beauties. And they are out as well. Not necessarily a jammer race, but this will be interesting to see how far Madison wants to go with this.
Yeah, Mads has about a half a track advantage, is calling out instructions, and well done. Weaves through the pack, gets by Fitzwilliam Darcy at the front of the pack, and calls it off. So the Bombshells are looking for just that the rest of this bout. Lead jam, get their 4 and get out. That would suit them perfectly. They're going to send Skatey Gaga to the jammer line, number 113.
And we've got Evil Twin way over here to my left, who's going to be jamming for the Beauties.
Skady Gaga skates with number 113 because 13 is her number, and when she got here, there was already a 13, Hugs and Stitches. So she's 113. I always ask people where their numbers come from. I'm always curious.
That's an easy ad, yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, that's why. I thought it might be 311 backwards. No, not a 311 fan. Both jammers are out now. We've got Evil Twin out first, and this is going to be a jammer race back to the pack. They're going to barrel down into the back straightaway, and Twin's going to call it off. Skady Gaga right there on the pursuit, forcing that call off. Hannibal Lecture will be at the jammer line now for the Bombshells, and that's going to be Princess Leia. For the Brutal
And Hannibal
Beauties.
Lecture's trying to get the crowd going, so let's go ahead and give the Bombshells a little love for Hannibal.
There we go. Look at that. Audience interaction. And Hanny along the inside. Hanny gets out quickly along the inside of the track.
But
now,
Sleia's out as well.
Yep. So Sleia half a track behind. So Hanny's going to get up here and see what she can do with the pack. Along the inside, ran into her own skater at the front of the pack there and got turned by Darcy into Anakin and ran into Anakin and got knocked off, got up to call it off. 4 for black. Bombshells hit 100 squarely on the nose, 100 to 57. 10 minutes to go in the third quarter.
It looks like we've got Skeletori on the line for the Beauties, as well as Skid Vicious for the Bombshells. Little adjustments on position here.
Rather small pack. We've got 2 Bombshells in the penalty box. Brutal Beauties with a full complement of blockers. Now some discussion with the officials, so let's see if this is going to continue. Got a cheer from the Brutal Beauties contingent in the crowd and the bench acknowledging that cheer. All right, looks like we are going to stick with the action here. No OTO. Or no. Bender started to, changed his mind. And back, and the whistle blows. The jam has definitely started. No take-backsies. Skid is up to the pack.
And looks like we've got Dirty Carry out there, and I believe that is Slappy Go Lucky as the only 2 blockers for the Bombshells.
Skid gets out, had a lot of success getting out of the pack, has Skid Vicious tonight. And Skeletori now gets past that last blocker as well to get out for the Beauties.
I was wrong. Swifty is out there as well for the Bombshells. Guess I'm not counting very well tonight. There were 3 as opposed to just 2.
Yeah. So Skid up to the pack, calls it off. No points for either side that I have seen. And it would appear that, yep, I heard an arms penalty coming in, and if that's your jammer, it's a double jammer down situation. We have penalties on both jammers. Interesting tidbit, if you're not aware. If both jammers get penalties, then each team sits a blocker because a jam without jammers would be pointless. Yeah, Suki's heard that before. I've pulled out that one a couple of times. So yeah, so you've got to have a jammer. So basically what we have here is both teams are sitting a blocker instead. Both teams get jammers.
Yeah, that would be bizarre not to have any jammers.
Yeah. Tornado Alley for the Bombshells.
Princess Leia. Jinx.
Yep. Sleia is going to try to step over a blocker to the inside, but runs out of space. Alley is nearer the front and gets out.
Princess Leia getting bumped out by Madison from the Bombshells, but eventually makes it out of the pack as Allie's coming around for some points. Ooh, skates right through, decides to call it off as Sleia makes their way closer.
4 points for the Bombshells up on the board. 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. Skid Vicious for the Bombshells. Evil Twin for the Brutal Beauties. Under an arms penalty on Madison. So the Bombshells down 1 blocker.
But Skid Vicious is out as lead jammer. Evil Twin there at the back, getting bumped around a little bit by Dirty Carry there. Skid coming around, kind of assessing the situation, seeing where they might fit through the easiest. Does find that path. Sometimes it really pays to kind of hesitate just a little bit, kind of see what's going on with that pack.
Let the defenders kind of go by, like we said, with the old, like a head hesitate, like Hezi God in the one-on-one tapes, right? We've got Skid down to the inside. Spun down, 15 seconds left on the jam. Evil Twins at the back of the pack. Slappy Go Lucky is personally defending Evil Twins. Skid Vicious gets out and calls it off. So 10 big points for the Bombshells there. Bombshells are really pouring it on now here in the third quarter, 114 to 57. That is Madison for the Bombshells, Gypsy Danger for the Brutal Beauties. Gypsy down to the inside. Mad's kind of tripped over her. Now they're both back at the back of the pack again. Gypsy along the inside and gets out. Brutal Beauties looking for lead jam, and they've got it.
Madison still struggling to find their place towards the back of the pack, but does break through. But Gypsy's already coming around for some points, so we'll see what happens here. Gypsy making a nice move along the high here and does manage to get past those blockers for the Bombshells and calls it off.
Yep, able to race by around the outside. So Bombshells, Brutal Beauties, well, both teams are looking for points, but yeah. I hear a skater's off the track. I did not see anybody out there for the Beauties, so this could be a team timeout. Yeah, that was kind of a dead giveaway. Team timeout, Brutal Beauties. They're going to use their first second half timeout, 114 to 61. Brutal Beauties are going to talk this one over for 60 seconds.
Don't forget to head over to Vendor Village. Irish Moon is over there. They've got a bunch of very cool skate accessories, including laces. Dead Star Press is actually outside by the food truck. Their bookmobile is out there. You also have the opportunity to raffle for them. They are giving away a tote bag and also a book of choice if you're into that, which I so am into that. Yes.
Right. Yeah, I saw the bookmobile out there, all set up. They were out there before the food truck was. You could have eaten a book.
Yeah. It's good fiber.
Right. Take your book to the waffle bar and have waffle toppings put on it. You know what I mean? It's all plant matter,
So
right?
waffles and books.
It's all
Waffles
plant
and
matter.
books,
It's
yeah.
all cellulose, right?
It
You
is,
know what I mean?
You could totally eat pages. Not a big
All
deal.
right, 30 seconds to go. We're gonna one more time siphon draw. Get those tickets ready if you were winning if you want to win the siphon draw gift package. 103-946 for siphon draw. 103-946. I'm going to announce another winner after this jam if nobody clearly lets me know that they have won that prize. Siphon draw 103-946. Thank you. Looking down here, 5:44 to go in the third quarter. That's going to be Skeletori for the Brutal Beauties. And
Skatey
Skatey Gaga once again for the Bombshells. Skatey quickly to the front and out quickly. Look at that.
Just
right
whistled their way right through. Skeletori having a little bit more trouble there behind, let's see. Oh, my goodness. Who's all back there? Slappy Go Lucky's back there. Dirty Carry's back there.
Yeah, a handful of Bombshells defenders. Bombshells have been, obviously, with them holding the Beauties to this low of a point total through three quarters, the Bombshells defense has been real stout throughout. Skeletori does get out, puts the cover on. Skatey Gaga finishes her scoring pass and calls it off. New winner for Siphon Draw. Siphon Draw, new winner. This ticket is a slightly different color, 430-410. 430-410 for Siphon Draw. You need to kind of simultaneously let us know if
we got a winner. Woohoo!
We got a winner. All right, head down there.
Yes.
Don't come up here. Head down there.
Nope,
Thank you.
They're headed
Perfect.
in the right direction. We're good.
Now we got a winner for Siphon Draw. That is excellent.
Meanwhile, we got Sandy Slay O'Connor for the Bombshells and Princess Leia for the Brutal Beauties. I almost said it, Clifton.
I started to. I said brute earlier, which is technically a cologne.
It's the worst.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So technically speaking, I did not say the evil word.
We're not even going to say it.
No.
Not even going to talk about it.
There goes.
So we got a jammer race
We
now
do.
between Princess Leia and Sandy Slay O'Connor. And Sleia's like, you know what?
Yep.
Nah.
All the sleigh out there.
All the slayers. All the slayers.
sleigh. Everybody sleigh at the same time. Getting into the late parts of the third quarter, this is going to be Skid Vicious for the Bombshells, Evil Twin for the Brutal Beauties. No points for either side there, obviously.
Both jammers having a slow go here. Skid looking for their opening, and they do get it. They're actually out, and out is lead jammer. Evil Twins struggling a little bit behind. Dirty Carry has been exceptional this game as far as blocking. I keep seeing them, effectively keeping that jammer
back. When you've
back.
mentioned a blocker's name several times, that's always a good sign that they're in there doing work. Dirty Carry,
which
usually
is really
more
funny, more of a jammer.
More of a jammer, but honestly, that speaks to the Bombshells being multifaceted. Anakin Shit Talker has just rejoined the team basically tonight. This is the first time I've seen Anakin skate in a while, and she obviously is another really talented jammer. So the Bombshells exhibiting a nice deep lineup here heading into the playoffs, and could be a lot to handle for whoever's the second or third seed. We've got both jammers out now. Yeah, I would have to say this Bombshells team not even using some of their most... Hannibal Lecture jams a lot for them, too. So they're really not even using some of their primary jammers here, relying on their subs.
Right. That's why I was asking why, if Skid Vicious was
Could
tired, because they've been up on the jammer line a lot.
Could be
Skating
proving
Gaga.
that they might be somebody that nobody wants to face in the playoff tournament coming up. I believe the way it's set up is they would have to play the Brutal Beauties again first, and then play, would be, a winner or the next seed up would be how the tournament works. But yeah, what they're showing tonight, this is a stout effort from the Bombshells this evening. That being said, the one single thing that has bedeviled the Bombshells tonight is the power jam.
Yeah.
We've had a
penalties
lot
on the
of
jammer
penalties on the Bombshells tonight. That has obviously not been a problem for them.
But this is a good opportunity. Look at Slaya, already out of the pack, ready to go. Who's here for the Beauties? Let's hear it. All right, there we go.
Bombshells here are skating with the minimum. Only 2 blockers. Honestly, a great opportunity for the Brutal Beauties here. Slaya gets to go on by, because when your blocker doesn't stay on the track, you don't have to go off the track. You get to go on by as well.
Yep.
So Slaya now catching up. Bombshells are going to do what they can, but again, with only 2 blockers. Excellent work by Madison right there, though. Madison, excellent defensive work at the front of the pack, and Princess Slaya calls it off in the interest of saving time for more jams. Wow, excellent individual blocking work by Madison right there in order to almost personally stop that scoring pass from happening any further and keeping Princess Slaya from getting through another time.
And that was 8 points for Princess Slaya on that power jam.
So 124-69 for the Brutal Beauties.
And we've got Tornado Alley on the line for the Bombshells.
Madison, let's see, that is Skeletori for the Brutal Beauties. Madison blocked a little too hard, just a little too hard, and Madison is in the penalty box. So one of those blocks was not legal, and they are in the penalty box for an arms. Getting out is Tornado Alley.
Oh, look at that, though. Skeletori coming right up behind. Alley's probably going to assess the situation, see if they can collect any points before calling that off.
Alley down to the inside, angling off the track, and called it off.
Well, speak of the devil. Dirty Carry is on the jammer line for the Bombshells.
That's right, there is Dirty Carry.
We were waiting for it. We were waiting for it.
And that is going to be Gypsy Danger for the Brutal Beauties. This is going to
Gypsy, pull that helmet cover down.
This is going to be the last jam of the third quarter, I am pretty sure. There's only going to be about 10 seconds to go when this whistle blows, 14 seconds to go. And that'll take us down to the end of the third quarter.
Oh, now interesting move by Dirty Carry there, playing a little bit of defense against Gypsy Danger. That's an interesting move, kind of going up and doing something a little bit different there. Normally they're going to barrel right through, but...
Yeah, neither jammer out yet. Gypsy Danger to the front of the pack and is doing battle with Skid Vicious. Those blockers finally pushed out of play, and Gypsy Danger gets out of the pack. Looks like we've got a prize to give away, so we're going to give away that green Yeti tumbler before we get to the quarter break. That is Gypsy Danger now out and clear and is working on a scoring pass for the Brutal Beauties. Good block by Slappy Go Lucky there in the high point of the turn to kind of knock Gypsy Danger into the rail. Dirty Carry at the back of the pack, 5 seconds to go on the jam clock. And we've got Gypsy Danger out the front of the pack, and that jam clock will expire. We'll bring you the score momentarily. Get those tickets ready for the Green Yeti Tumbler. We'll get that score as soon as it's posted as we head into the quarter break. 5 points for the Brutal Beauty. We're back. We're back to the action. We are here in the second half. We were having somebody ask about the glasses. We're going to say again, the blue frame glasses, somebody has lost blue framed glasses. If you see glasses sitting around that aren't like obviously connected to somebody, let us know. Bring them up here to us. We'll serve as lost and found for that purpose. Tornado Alley for the Bombshells here at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and Alley is going to pick up right where the Bombshells left off and get out. And Evil Twin stays upright and gets out of the pack as well.
Allie's doing battle here at the back of the pack and decides to call it off as Twin was coming up real quick.
I just heard a directional block on Mads Sin. Mads has picked up a couple of penalties, so I'm wondering how close Mads might be to fouling out. At this point, it does not seem like there's going to be any kind of serious attrition problem because I don't see anybody else sitting down there with the helmet off, which is the universal signal for we have fouled out and have not left the bench. So, yeah, so far it looks like we are pretty penalty okay. We don't have a whiteboard, so we really can't tell you for absolute certain. Getting out again for the Bombshells, out and clear. There goes Dirty Carry out there to jam a few times now. See, you should be a coach, Sookie. They're just like, you know what? What about Dirty Carry? They just started doing it. Like a soothsayer over here.
Not hardly.
No, right.
Let's see, I think Princess Leia has been trying to get out for a minute here. Has not been successful. Got bumped off onto the infield there. Helmet cover in hand as we're kind of getting to that 20-second mark of the jam clock.
Yep, going to line up here at the back of the pack and form a 5-wall.
Yeah,
they're
go
bound
ahead
and determined to not let Dirty Carry get through again, and Dirty Carry is still going to find an opening, get Slaya knocked down, and get that wall broken up with the help of some of the blockers. 5 seconds left in the jam for the Bombshells, and that will do it. Clock expires. Checking on the score from the infield, there will be about 12:30 to go in the regulation. Another arms penalty on somebody down there in the infield. We've got Sandra Slay O'Connor on the jammer line for the Bombshells, and that is Skeletori for the Brutal Beauties. Looking down there at the pack, I see one skater from each side in the penalty box, so a slightly reduced back. Big block. Skeletori got knocked down hard, bounced off her posterior, jumped right back up and took off. Sandra Slay O'Connor now on the pursuit for the Bombshells. So now the pack is going to play keep away. The Bombshells are united at the front and are going to try to take off. So here comes Skeletori. They're going to see if they can catch up to the pack. Brutal Beauties use that momentary time to get in front of the pack. Skeletori gets up, tried to get past a couple of skaters, reestablishes, calls it off.
Okay, we've got a quick, we
go
got to do
ahead,
a
go
quick
ahead, you
announcement
first.
here. We've got a black Jeep Cherokee that is blocking the ADA ramp. That needs to be moved immediately.
Oh, goodness.
The license plate is BKW 7565. If you are the
Move
owner of
your
a black
vehicle.
Black Jeep Cherokee,
Please.
please move that vehicle.
Immediately, do not wait. You are blocking our wheelchair ramp that lets people get in and out of the building. That's what we mean by the ADA ramp. You are blocking egress for anybody in a wheelchair. Please move your vehicle immediately. I'm going to read that off one more time. Black Jeep Cherokee, BKW 7565. Please get out there and move that as soon as you can. Stoppage in play. Team timeout by the Bombshells to talk that one over. 136-76. Bombshells are in front by an even 60 right here. I hear some penalties rattling in, and I do see the officials talking as well, despite the fact, obviously, they can use that opportunity for this, of course.
And if all this action has gotten you tense, why don't you visit Tucci's Touch Massage? They're giving out massages, doing 15-minute, I believe, 10 to 15-minute chair massages. They're out in the vendor village, so give them a check out. Also, they are part of our sponsors here, and they are also doing a raffle as well, so you could actually get a gift certificate for a massage. So go check that out. We haven't raffled that off yet, so there's still time.
Yep, get down there and get those raffle prizes if you'd like. Got a shout out from the chat. Thigh Voltage, our beloved Volty, number 600, chimes in from the chat and says, "I love you, Sandy." We know this. So,
All right, unless my eyes are deceiving me, it looks like we have a Bombshells Power Jam, and that's going to be taken on by Tornado Alley, number 6 for the Bombshells. Looking to widen the gap a little bit, obviously, although they're having a little bit of trouble getting past the Brutal Beauties, but do manage to squeak out on their way to scoring some points as that pack regroups. Alley coming up. It looks like we've got a couple of beauties there at the top of the pack. Fitzwilliam Darcy's there. Looks like possibly, Evil Twin is there. All trying to make sure that Alley does not get out, gets bumped out onto the infield, so making that a little more difficult for them than normal.
Tornado Alley down to the inside. Excellent wall at the back of the pack there, as you mentioned. That Brutal Beauties defensive wall holding strong here, trying to give their offense a chance after this full 60-second power jam to get back out there and do some work.
Yeah, this is really good defense on the Beauties' part, because like we've talked about, those power jams can be really rough.
Skatey Gaga is going to get out there. 5 for the Bombshells, by the way, 141-76.
And we've
Skatey
got
Gaga, as we
Skeletori.
mentioned. Yep, Skeletori.
Skeletori, yep, for the Beauties. We've got the chicken has been thrown, so that's a challenge. Where else can you say the chicken has been thrown in life? I feel like that's very Derby specific. Once again, thanks to those who are out there in Twitch land who cannot be here with us but are supporting us through the Twitch.
Yep. We need to let you know again one more time. Extremely urgent, very serious. I'm going to pause the music to underscore how important this is. We're pausing the music. Fans in the arena, Black Jeep Cherokee, you are blocking the ADA ramp, and you need to be moved or you will be towed. And I mean you will be towed. BKW 7565, Black Jeep Cherokee, get out there and move your vehicle immediately, please. You have parked BKW 7565, Black Jeep Cherokee. No, okay, yeah. It's parked, yeah, it's out here. It's blocking the ADA ramp over here. So if you're out there, you're okay, thank you. One of the skaters from the infield was checking in with us just to make sure it wasn't her. Okay, music back on. All right, good. Vibes are back. We're cool. Somebody needs to move that truck, though. You are blocking the ramp that lets people get in and out of the building. That is extremely important. Challenge continuing along the back straightaway. We want to let you know again, don't forget Tucci's Touches here. Tucci is providing free 10-minute massages in the vendor area, specializing in trigger point therapy, targeting muscle knots and tension to relieve pain and improve mobility. Their injury rehab approach combines therapeutic techniques to accelerate recovery and restore functional movement. Where's our vendor list? Let's take a look at that. We got Raven Sweet Haven. They have all kinds of pastry. They have Raven tonight. She has a lot of savory stuff for springtime. She made a bunch of hand pies.
Yeah, there's pies, there's pot pies,
She's
there's
got
sausage rolls.
a special on hand pies tonight. Go down there and check that out. Savory stuff and a lot of vegan options as well. You got a Cubs license plate holder. Cubs fan, okay, one more time. The person with the black Jeep Grand Cherokee, you've got a Cubs license plate holder. So we're going to clue you in again. If you got a Cubs license plate holder and a black Jeep Grand Cherokee, if you don't happen to have your license plate memorized, you need to move your vehicle. It really is really important that you do so. Well, we have had our third points challenge of the night and the third unsuccessful challenge. What are the odds of that? Bombshells believe there was a second scoring pass, but it was 5 points, and that stands. So 141 to 76. Bombshells thought they got a second scoring pass out of that is what it was. However, getting out of the pack for the Bombshells to keep those points coming, that's Impaler Swift jamming for the first time for the Bombshells. And wow, Swifty just bowls over a blocker in the back straightaway. Now taking off. Now jamming for the first time for the Brutal Beauties is number 16, Black Mamba. Black Mamba is going to take over as jammer for the Brutal Beauties here. Swifty along the inside gets those points and calls it off quickly. And there's a cheer from the bench for Swifty jamming.
Mamba might have made a couple of points there. Let's see. I don't know. That was kind of a blur of action. Couldn't really tell. I know that Swifty was waiting a while to call that off.
So what we had is Skady Gaga had started on the jammer line for the Bombshells and was assessed a penalty before she passed the star forward. No, is it Impaler Swift? They said Impaler Swift. I believe they said 113. Yes. There goes Skady Gaga. The penalty was on Skady Gaga before she passed the star to Impaler Swift. It was an above shoulders block. So, all right, that is all sorted. So Skady Gaga has the star on in the penalty box. We've got a skater being swapped out. Looks like they pulled down Anakin Shit Talker for Slappy Go Lucky, and the power jam is underway with less than 9 minutes to go in regulation.
And Princess Leia is taking that power jam for the Beauties, looking to wind their way around, but they get bumped off onto the infield. And as in the fashion for tonight, taking off that helmet cover, so we'll see if there's going to be any kind of a pass.
Man, skaters just getting knocked aside down there in the back straightaway. Juicy Kiltour being unkind to one of the blockers for the Brutal Beauties. 22 seconds left in this jam. Neither jammer out yet. In fact, I believe the Beauties have passed the star to Gypsy Danger. I believe I saw that in her hand, plus she's working towards the front like a jammer might. 10 seconds left in the jam. Gypsy Danger does get out and is going to put that star on, but not going to have enough time to get back around to score any points.
Just a little too late on that one.
Yeah, so there'll be no points for either side there. Bombshells are trying to escort this thing into the old deep freeze, as Al McCoy used to say back in the day. Bombshells are up 149 to 76 with 7.5 minutes to go in the final quarter. 7.5 minutes to go in regulation. Bombshells are going to send Dirty Carry to the line. That's going to be Skeletori for the Brutal Beauties. All right, underway we go. Bombshells have 2 blockers out there, and accordingly, blasting out of the pack and getting out is Skeletori for the Brutal Beauties. And now getting out for the Bombshells, ripping out of the pack. Here comes Dirty Carry, half a track behind. So Tori's going to get up to the pack and see what she can do. Now those 2 Bombshells blockers, that's Skid Vicious and Impaler Swift, 2 wily veterans. They're going to try to keep ahead here, see if they can. Oh, Tori, wow, gets along the inside, gets past him and calls it off. He's going to get all 4 of those points.
That pack was moving.
Yes, it was. All right, the car has been moved. Thank you. Thank you for moving that car. Listen, I want to make clear, no judgment. Honestly, in this case, parking in front of that ADA ramp, that is a mistake you can make. Honestly, it's not very visible. That's not like parking in the fire lane when people park in the fire lane. It's like you're parked in a fire lane. Please move. But that one was just urgent that we stressed that you had to get out of the way. So no judgment. Thank you for moving your car. We really appreciate it.
Meanwhile, it looks like Princess Leia is out as lead jammer for the Brutal Beauties. And then Hannibal Lecture is actually the jammer for Bombshells right now, struggling a bit there at the back of the pack. Princess Leia gets bumped off a couple times now. We got players kind of all over the track.
Yeah, excellent blocking by Anakin up here at the front of the pack along the inside. So whistle blows. Saleya is good with 3 points there. Be 5.5 minutes to go in regulation for this next jam. 149.83. The Brutal Beauties have put 3 points on the board there. Evil Twin for the Beauties here. Dirty Carry for the Bombshells.
Dirty Carry just looked around and was like, oh, there you are, to the Evil Twin. You can see the positioning of the jammers is very individual. They all have their own special spots, and sometimes that will change.
Yeah, Cherry Kiss for the Runaway Bride starts partway into the turn from well back.
Way back here.
Yeah, Holly Hood does as well, obviously. So there goes Dirty Carry for the Bombshells. Bombshells are continuing to get lead jam as often as they can and conduct the pace of play here with that big lead. Brutal Beauties don't have many blockers out there, so the jammer's going to line up to play defense. So now Evil Twin is going to try to get past Skid Vicious and not be able to do so. Excellent defense by Skid Vicious, and I believe that's Mickey Mental at the front of the pack. Nope, excuse me, that was Columbiach up there to do battle with Skid Vicious.
Dirty Carry's not coming around for a scoring pass. Looks like they're going to go square into, that's Evil Twin and Skeletori. Having a bit of trouble now. Going to go ahead and call that off.
All right. We're looking at about 4 minutes to go in regulation when this next jam begins. I see a Brutal Beauties jammer and no jammer. Nope, there's a jammer for the Bombshells. That's Tornado Alley. Jammer for the Brutal Beauties, once again, is Gypsy Danger. Pack is pretty robust. Is it fully robust? I believe it is fully robust.
It does look like it. Tornado Alley towards the middle of the pack there, but it looks like Gypsy Danger might have an edge, and does, out as lead jammer. But Tornado Alley is now out and right behind Jammer Race, and Gypsy Danger's like, we're just going to call this off.
Yeah, Gypsy Danger calling that off. Tornado Alley has been a fearsome jammer since she started in this league.
And very fast.
Now I don't see any Brutal Beauties out there at all, so this is probably going to be another Brutal Beauties team timeout here in the late going. Let us check. Stoppage in play. Team timeout.
And there you go.
Pink, says Crystal Ball Buster. So Brutal Beauties are going to use their final timeout of the bout. 3:27 to go in regulation. And we say in regulation because obviously in other sports that means that the possibility of a tie is evident. But obviously in bank track roller derby you can have penalty jams. At the final jam of the game, if the team that is behind skates penalty free and the team that is ahead gets a penalty assessed to it, then we'll have overtime jams. And a close game, that can be a humongous thing, obviously. I see Copper heading around with yellow raffle tickets right now. Don't forget those yellow raffle tickets are $1 each or 6 for $5. Copper is now heading down the front straightaway with those tickets. We've got several prizes left to give away. Head down there and check those prizes out.
Yeah, we've still got the podcast trucker hat, HODS. podcast trucker hat. Raven's Pie of Choice. We've got the Switchblade Salon haircut, the Dead Press tote bag and book, and then, of course, Tucci's Touch Massage gift certificate. So go down there, grab those raffle tickets, and go down there and put them in the gold bag of your choice. All right, and it looks like for the Bombshells, I believe this is the first time. Is that Slappy Go Lucky that is on the jammer line for the Bombshells? And Skeletori is on for the Beauties. And Skeletori is out. Made quick work of that pack and is now coming around. Slappy trying to get through a couple of Brutal Beauties blockers and does manage to do so. But Skeletori's got quite a bit of a lead there, so let's see if they can score some points before Slappy gets there. Oh, there's a lead change. Slappy is now was lead jammer for a second there and ends up calling that off.
Yeah, I heard an excited lead change from beside me here. I was catching up on the playoff standings and trying to figure out the seeding for our second bout, so I've got that all internalized now. So thank you for calling that jam. 4 points for both sides, as does tend to happen in a lead change type situation. And look at me, I called it. Anakin Shit Talker, number 6, is on the jammer line for the Bombshells. Had a feeling she'd be up there eventually. Kind of her home when she was here in the league previously. And that's going to be Critter once again for the Brutal Beauties. And Anakin was near the front, but racing out first.
And actually, it looks like we had a star
pass on both sides. Yeah, we've got double star pass. Yep,
yeah.
Taking over as jammer for the Beauties is Princess Leia. Taking over as jammer for the Bombshells is Juicy Kill Tour.
Let's see what Leia decides to do here. Decides to maybe grab a couple of points there before calling that off.
So the Beauties have been keeping this score about, the lead has been about the same. They have not let this really get any further out of hand here in the quarter. 162.89, 2 points for the Brutal Beauties. We'll give away a prize here after this jam. That's going to be the HODS trucker hat we're giving away in a moment.
And that was 2 points for the Beauties?
Yes.
Collected 2 there. Now we've got Dirty Carry for the Bombshells, and that looks like Evil Twin for the Beauties.
Dirty Carry to the front is going to get blocked down to the inside, and let's see, we're looking for the Bombshells jammer who's around the outside and clear. So there goes Dirty Carry for the Bombshells. Calling out for a wall, I hear from the bench. Now Evil Twin's going to try to take off for the Brutal Beauties and get clear, but gets blocked off to the inside. Under a minute to go in regulation. Time for one more jam. When this clock expires, there's 18 seconds left in the jam. Dirty Carry is going to get out once again. Right behind is that Brutal Beauties jammer. Dirty Carry is going to burn more time off the clock here before getting back to the pack. Definitely trying to run this thing down and leave only time for one more jam in regulation. So there we go. One more jam in regulation. Both teams will try to skate penalty free if at all possible. As I said, if both teams wind up with no penalties.
And the Bombshells have put up Madison for jammer, which I believe this is their first time on the jammer line this whole game.
She may have taken over and it may have jammed a couple of times in the first half, I believe. Yes. All right. 2 seconds left in regulation. That's going to run out. We'll check on penalty jams once this is over. There was a big old line outside for Mr. Wonderful's Wings and Waffles, so you get out there and check that out during the intermission break that is upcoming. Mads along the inside, both jammers along the inside. Saleya now gets up to reestablish. Mads out to the front, gets out quickly and calls it off just as quickly. So let's see about penalties. That's going to do it for the regulation clock. No points for either side there. Your score right now, 167 to 89.
Everybody's being called off the track.
Yep. Checking down there. Everybody's talking. We are waiting to see about penalties. Checking with your jam ref debris. All right, raffle prize to give away here. We'll give this away. Here we go. We've got penalty jams. We've got penalty jams. We had a penalty on the Bombshells and no penalties on the Brutal Beauties. We're back at it. Let's give away a prize real fast. It's going to be a power penalty. No, it's not. Sorry, that would be hard to do. Never mind. All right, give a prize away really fast. This is the Raven Sweet Haven pie of your choice. 430-339. 430-339. We'll read that again after this jam just to be safe. Raven Sweet Haven, 430-339 is the winner.
And we've got Dirty Carrie jamming for the Bombshells and Princess Leia for the Beauties. Let's see if we get any jammer penalties here. Carrie is out. Going to put that star back on. Sleia's also out. And
you have to have the star on to call it. You have to have the star on to call it, just like you do to score points. So Carrie gets that on and calls it. Both teams, again, trying to skate penalty free. Once again, Raven Sweet Haven pie of your choice. 430-339. Yellow ticket. Is that you? Lucky winner. Man, Raven Sweet Haven is delicious. All right, this time, easy discussion, no penalties for either side. And with that final whistle, that's a final score, 167 to 89. One more time from the Bombshells contingent in the house.
Yes, let's
give
hear it for
them
the
hell, Bombshells. The Bombshells are victorious. Bombshells are going to head into the playoffs, not only with a victory, but I would dare say momentum. I would dare say.
A little bit, yes.
An
they really came
emphatic
out.
victory here.
They really came out at that second quarter and just really, or the second half,
victory.
excuse
Here's
me.
the Brutal Beauties. Definitely stayed with it. Jumped out quick. Got a little behind in the second and third quarters, but kept that lead from getting any worse in the fourth quarter. So the Beauties will be the 5 seed heading into the playoffs.
Great
Probably
job to the
face
Beauties.
the same team, yeah. We'll check that out. Great job by the Beauties, though, indeed. All right. So we will step aside. It is, as I've been told, a 30-minute break. It'll be a 30-minute break. The next bout will start at right at 7:38, give or take. We'll bring you team intros at like 7:35. 7:35 for intros.